Hello. 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 How is everyone doing? Welcome to another Friday Night Live. Please make sure you announce your entrance so I can say hello. If this is a replay gang, make sure you drop a hello in the chat so I can again shout you out, say hello, acknowledge your presence. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm excited about tonight's conversation. I'm excited about tonight's guests. But if you are meeting me for the very first time, welcome. My name is Tracie, and here on my YouTube channel, I talk about all things business, wellness, and my life here in Mexico. And tonight, hey sis, how all right, y'all. I'm back. Hold on. I'm editing all of this stuff. I'm trying to remove my other screen. I don't know what is going on. Can y'all see me? Drop in the comments what you see because StreamYard has never done this before. But again, this is Mexican internet. Of course, it wants to act up today, right? Today, when I have guests, it wants to act up. So we're just gonna work with it. We're just gonna go with it. Okay. Hopefully, we will get it together. Before I bring them on, I'm going to get this straight though. All right. Please let me know. Yes, you can see me. Hey, Black Yaya, what's up? Hey, Khadijah. Okay. Am I back? Am I one screen now? I think I figured it out. I don't know what happened, but the internet all of a sudden just decided to mess up. All of a sudden on a Friday night. Okay. We are back. Welcome, you guys. Again, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Tracie Collins, and here on my channel, I talk about all things business, wellness, and my life here in Mexico. Tonight, I am excited to have the conversation with Dara and Angela, or Dara and Angela. It's really Dara. I just have a really bad habit of saying it wrong, and she lets me get away with it, which I don't know why. My brain. Elwanda is in the house. Hey, Mom. But without further ado, I'm going to bring Dara and Angela up. They have been on their scouting trip here in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. They're going to talk about their journey here to SMA, how they have been experiencing their time here. They have spent, it's almost been 2 weeks. They will be here a total of 3 weeks, and what they have going on. So let me bring them up. Hey, you guys.
Hi. Hey, Tracie. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
Hello, everybody.
Hey, you guys. So make sure that you guys like and share this live. You guys make sure that you share it with your family, because I would love for them to hear your story, even if it's like later on, and hear you guys from this perspective. So introduce yourselves to everyone.
Go ahead. I'm Dara. My name is Dara Thomas, and I'm just really psyched to be here in San Miguel de Allende.
My name is Angela, and I'm excited to be here too. Excited to be with you all.
Yay! So thank you guys so much for joining us. And tell me, okay, so now that you guys have been here for almost 2 weeks, tell us and tell everyone how your experience has been to San Miguel. And then also tell us like what made you choose SMA of all places.
Okay. We always look at each other. Who's going to start?
Somebody go.
So our experience has been in SMA. So you know, we've only known SMA through maybe YouTube videos or, you know, speaking with Tracie and things like that. So it has been really amazing. It's different to see it on video, but it's a whole other thing to actually be in the place. And so we didn't know what to expect, and it's been beautiful. You know, we had a trek, we got in really late. When on a Sunday night, we got here, we kind of got acclimated. We were hungry, we romped our way, we found our Airbnb and found our way to get something to eat and hang out. And then the next day we hit the ground running, exploring. And so it's been really fun just to, you know, get to know like the neighborhood, to take, to see how beautiful everything is. It's been really amazing to see how beautiful, like in real life it is. Looking at all the cobblestone and the architecture, and just getting kind of a lay of the land and getting acclimated, and then just like the experience of what it's like to be in a place where this is not your first native language, and how to like navigate in spaces has been really fun for us. I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I do speak Spanish. So I can get around. There is more learning a little bit more. So it's been fun to like really put that in action, where some people won't, you know, speak to you in English, or they will. And just being able to do that and seeing how we can like, you know, move around here. We've done everything: grocery shopping, walking around, going to eat, going sightseeing. We've made ourselves natives already. We've just been really getting the lay of the land and stuff. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, I really, I really enjoy it here. San Miguel is a beautiful city. So how we found out about San Miguel was we were already talking about moving away, and we had narrowed it down to Mexico. And at first we were thinking about Merida. And so we followed a bunch of YouTubers who were in Merida, and then we started to notice that there was a trend that everybody was saying, you know, Merida is great, but it's hard to maintain long-term relationships and friendships, because as soon as you get close to somebody, in a few weeks they're gone and they're off to somewhere else. So it seems like a place that's a little bit transient. And we know that, thank you, yes, we are very happy. We know that we wanted a place where we could put down some roots, and where we could find community and be in community with people and form some lasting friendships. And so just as we were kind of talking about that, Tracie, I came across the video with you, where an interview where you were talking about SMA. And the one thing that stuck with me was that you said that it is a place where people come to stay. And so that really piqued my interest. And I told Angie about it, and we started watching some videos on SMA, and I was like, oh my gosh. Something that I like the fact that it's central. A lot of people like the coastal towns, and that's great. But we wanted somewhere that was a little bit more central, because we want to do a lot of traveling around Mexico so we can really get to learn this beautiful country. And so when we found that out, and we found out that you do consulting, we were like, oh God, this is the person we want to reach out to. And so that started it. And now we're here, and I keep waking up, I'm like, wow, I'm still in Mexico. This is great. I don't know how I'll get back to Atlanta in a week, but we're gonna do it. And it's been amazing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Angie. Go ahead. So speaking of Atlanta, like I know there is no comparison, because Atlanta is Atlanta, and me coming from Atlanta as well, or us, to me, Atlanta is an anomaly within itself, because it being in the Southeast, the moment you get outside of the perimeter of the city and going to the more rural towns, that's when you know you are absolutely in the South. But not that, you know, Atlanta has any comparison to San Miguel, but how would your life compare in Atlanta versus here in SMA, now that you guys have had some opportunity to experience it?
I think it's just a better quality of living here. I think Atlanta has a reputation for being a lot more affordable. I think it's probably still more affordable than other areas of the States, but the fact that they've got a thriving entertainment industry, and it's now becoming a real tech hub of the South, that meant that prices have driven up since we got there. And we've only been there for about 5 years, right? So Atlanta is not as affordable as it used to be. Atlanta is a lot larger than SMA is. SMA is a small city. But yeah, I just think the quality of life is going to be better here. Aside from the the exchange of the dollar to the peso, that's a huge thing. But that aside, the quality of the food here is better. It was really startling to go into a city market. Shout out to Jewel. To go
Oh
into.
I hope maybe she hopped off. Maybe she didn't hear that.
Maybe she'll catch it on the replay. But it was really startling to go into city market and see, and walk in to the grocery and see almost every American product labeled with excessive sugar, excessive salt, excessive fat. And when we think that a lot of American products are banned, city market, a lot of products are banned in places like Europe and stuff like that. It's like, what are we eating on a daily basis, right? Here, the food is fresh. I remember in one of your Instagrams, you said that like you went into the bakery and there were bees all over.
Oh yeah.
Goods, and you said, if the bees don't want it, I don't either. And it's so true, right? Because the food doesn't have pesticides, it doesn't have a bunch of chemicals in it, it's fresh. And so stuff doesn't last long here. We bought a pack of tortillas, we didn't get through all of them before we had to throw out a couple because, they got a little bit of mold on it. And that tells me that it's not packed full of preservatives. That, and just in terms of quality of life, just people are just so nice here.
Yeah.
And sweet. I'm talking locals. I'm talking all of the Black expats that we've met. Just really amazing people who say good morning and good evening. I'm Caribbean, and I'm accustomed to walking outside and saying good morning or good afternoon to a complete stranger, and people reciprocating. You do that in America, people look like you're crazy. Look at you like you're crazy. I don't want to ramble, but what about you?
Yeah, no, I was going to comment about the relationships. So, when we moved from San Diego, California, and my family lives in Atlanta. So we've been there by a little over 6 years or so. But when we got there a little before the pandemic happened. So we had stayed with my family, we had just kind of found our place, and then we were both working, and then the pandemic hit. So we were kind of locked down, and so we really didn't get an opportunity to really get to know Atlanta very super well in the way that we wanted to. But even after all that, when we started kind of trying to get back out and get around the city and try to meet people, we met some people, but we found it. And I've heard this from my family when they first moved there, because my mom's very extroverted. We found that it was very difficult to connect and trying to figure out who to hang out with, who had similar interests, who can we make connections with, who can we vibe with, and, how can we start to kind of make community here? And in all the 6 years that we've been there, we haven't met a whole lot of people compared to the fact that when we got here, it's so concentrated and so different. And I think the intention is different in living here. There's no pretenses, there's no need to be guarded, in which the US makes you feel guarded, especially when it comes to, say, Black women interacting with each other, and then us, being a queer married couple. Here, there's no pretenses. Everybody's together, and it's like everybody was super welcoming. And I'm like, man, Dara and I were like, dang, we met more people here that have been friendly and welcoming and more aligned and energetically and everything than we have in Atlanta. I'm not saying that people can't do that there. It's just that it hadn't been really our experience in aligning with people, And so I think that is what has been different, and we can foresee being different, is that this, being an SMA has fostered a really tight community for And we were happy too that we could come here as well and be a queer Black married couple, which was really important for us, because we cannot navigate spaces the same way that everyone else can. We can't pick a country and say, we're just going to move there and get residency. We have to think about being women, being Black, and being queer. So, we really loved that we got to pick here, and the proximity of location to our family and things like that was like made this the best choice, and they have a different quality of life, you know.
So, what are like some of the biggest factors that made you guys consider a life abroad? Like, I know that you are from Canada, but native to Trinidad. But what are some factors that made you guys say, yeah, we don't want to be in the States anymore?
I mean, I'm just going to cut to the chase. Just the virulent, like vapid, rampant racism, the inability for people to think critically about things, where using words like woke are now, it's now a bad word, because people don't seem to be intelligent enough to understand that, like, that means you're able to think critically about things, right? They just hear a word and they latch onto it, and it is what it is. And white supremacy has got a stranglehold on the United States to the point where it is downright embarrassing, and it's shameful, right? And it's made it to where it has become very uncomfortable for Black people, for other people of color, for other marginalized groups of people to live comfortably. And I don't think that that's something that the United States should be proud of. And the fact that patriotism is wrapped up in not being able to critique systems that are put in place is really dangerous and really, it's just really sad. The United States could be so much better than it is allowing it to be, and it seems to just always want to sink down to the lowest common denominator. So there's that. And aside from that, we've crossed a threshold in the States where there is no place in the country where a person on minimum wage can afford a 1-bedroom apartment, like absolutely nowhere in the country. And yet they keep cutting social services. And there is this pervasive notion that, like, of this meritocracy, that you have to earn your right to breathe and your right to live in this country, in the United States. And it doesn't have to be that way, but it is nonetheless. And with what's going on right now, like, we can't stop it. And we know that there are a lot of Black people who are like, my blood is in this soil. I'm not even going to get into the story, but my family's blood is in this very soil in the States, even though I was born in Canada by way of Trinidad. But the fact is, and I understand why there are people who want to stay, but I also think that there needs to be room given to those of us who are like, yeah, we're 50. I'm not interested in bargaining with anybody, negotiating with anybody for my humanity and why I need to be considered a whole entire human being instead of 3/5 of a human being. And I'm just tired of it.
Yeah. I think all of the things that probably are known, we, not only just also like our health, just having.
I was waiting for that one to come up.
Our health. I mean, I'm really looking forward to and excited to see how my whole health will shift. My body, physically, how everything is going to shift, mentally, everything is going to shift, but definitely seeing how that's going to be impacted, because we don't know anything else when you live in the States a lot of the times. And that's the other thing, the narrative. I think more Black folks are starting to travel more now, but I don't think that we couldn't reimagine ourselves somewhere else, that we could be citizens of the world, right? And so, that's something that we really took on to really entertain that. Like, we do have the option now. Saying that, it is a privilege, right? We are afforded the privilege to have the ability to move out of the States, but there's no shame in that. And because we can, we do, and
Right.
we are, and if you can, then do. And so I feel like that's something that, I feel like is a big reason too in moving here as well is, like I said, our health. And again, we're 50, and so when you're in the States, you hustle, and sometimes you feel like you don't have nothing to show for it, and we don't have retirement saved up.
Mhm.
So there's that. We want to be able to be in a place in which we can accelerate that quicker. Living over here as well. But then outside of that, the overall beautiful experience of understanding other cultures and living with other people and being people of the world. It's such a big world outside of the United States.
Right.
But the United States don't want you to know that or think that they're the best. And it's like, learning to have.
They just have the best PR team.
They
The United
do.
States has the best public relations manager on the globe. That's it.
I think they used to. I think that right now,
Yeah. Thanks to TikTok, though.
I think
The one that they want to take away.
Yeah, I think that I was telling Angie that I think that the United States is the proverbial emperor that has no clothes, and I think that right now there are people who are calling out that the emperor has no clothes. Like people are seeing. I think that whatever PR it was has fallen away. Not because the United States is not a beautiful country or could not be a beautiful country, but because of what is going on right now is just damaging whatever PR they might have had before. Yeah. Everything's laid bare right now,
Yeah. Well, I don't think it'll ever be a beautiful country until it rights its wrongs. Until it comes to terms with everything that it has done and all the atrocities that it's created, the United States will never be a beautiful country. It'll continue to fall until it rights its wrongs. Once, if it ever rights its wrongs, then there is time for atonement and change, but it'll be a totally different civilization at that point.
Yeah, it started dirty, so that's
Exactly. Exactly. You can't win being dirty, and like the grand words, many leaks. You can't win being dirty, and so that is what it definitely prides itself in. So switching gears, I know the answer to this question, but are there any neighborhoods that stand out to you guys, or that don't stand out to you guys here in SMA?
Oh my God.
So I will say that tomorrow we're going to go and take a look at a few more neighborhoods. Now, we were lucky to be taken on a tour with Bobby. What is Bobby's YouTube channel again? I can't remember.
Aging Grateful. She got a gazillion of them.
Oh, Grateful. Okay.
Hey, Bobby, happy belated.
Hey, Bobby.
Her birthday was yesterday.
Right.
Happy birthday, Bobby.
Yeah. So Bobby took us on an amazing tour. We got to see some great neighborhoods. I think so. We're currently staying in San Antonio. San Antonio is very touristy
right now, yes,
and it's full of tourists who are extremely
white,
entitled.
Yes, just say white.
Right. Yeah, white and entitled, and they in how they interact with, for example, restaurant staff and things like just people who are just unfortunately just on their worst behavior.
We've witnessed it.
We've witnessed it several times. Like almost every time we go out, I'm just like, okay, here we go again, right? And it's like I just don't understand it. But needless to say, San Antonio is full of that. So we know that for us, we are not looking to be in San Antonio. We want to be in a place where I hate to use the word expats. So I'm going to say where immigrants are respectful and respectfully making an honest attempt at integrating with the society and interacting with people in a way that is not parasitic, in a way that is not disrespectful, and in a way that is like more symbiotic and in just wanting to live in harmony with other people. So San Antonio is out for us. It's been nice staying in our Airbnb. That's great, and it's also close to other things, right? So that's great about it. But yeah, then
we went to, and we don't know, and that's the thing. I feel like this weekend, like I've been working during the week, so I had to work while I'm here. And so this weekend is going to be a big push for us to kind of venture around more, because we have, like, we can both be together all day and like go out. But so we saw some of San Antonio. So we don't know if we know all of San Antonio necessarily.
Right.
But this has been our experience in this particular Airbnb in this area of San Antonio. And then we went to Malaquin, where Bobby lives, and looked around there. And I guess that's what Las Brisas, like near Las Brisas. And that was great. But we really need to see more. We haven't really gotten to see Guadalupe yet. We've heard it so much. Beautiful things. So like some of that is this weekend. We still want to know, like,
we want to check out Guadalupe and La
Lahona.
We've heard about them both, and so we want to check those out for ourselves as well. But so we're still in the process of elimination, but regardless, SMA is definitely going to be home for us, and so
that's where we kind of look right now so far.
So switching gears again. So let's talk about one of my favorite subjects. So you guys are in the process of launching your business. So congratulations on that. It has definitely been a journey. Tell us about Root and Render and what you guys do and why you guys are so unique to the industry that you're in.
Okay. So Root and Render is a design subscription service studio where we will be offering subscriptions to startups, to SaaS companies, to agencies who need regular design work, right? They can pay for a monthly, quarterly, or annual subscription. They can upload as many design tasks as they need to their own Trello board once they're signed up for a subscription. And then we work on those design tasks one at a time with a quick turnaround so that they can get their design tasks in. Angie and I are both versed in UX design. Our background is as UX designers, as well as Angie's also a digital illustrator. I do some illustration myself. So we're going to be offering UX design, user experience design, that is designing websites, mobile apps, and digital products for companies, as well as doing digital illustration and branding design, and graphic design. So
And UX, explain a little bit. Just
UX. So UX is short for you go ahead.
Well, Nick, we just kind of like to, sometimes people don't know what UX design is, and we just want to say, so when we say we do websites and mobile, we're not creating and building the thing. We're not coding it. So we just do basically, if someone wants research on the market to find out whether or not, maybe the website's going to be effective, or, the mobile app, or we're designing the front face of it. We design all of what they call the user interface. So so basically we do the look of it, and then that will get passed off to a developer to actually code it and bring it to life. So that's kind of more right. Simplistic.
So what our deliverable for UX would be a high fidelity clickable prototype, which looks like the real thing. You can test on your users with this high fidelity prototype without having to expend the expense of actually building, because coding and building a site is a very cost prohibitive and very expensive thing to endure, to go into. So what we do is we allow them to test out and knock out all of the kinks out of it before they invest in actually building the full product out.
So how has it been like crafting your business? How has that experience been going from where you were to where you're going? And how is it so advantageous now that you guys are considering a life abroad? Not considering, but moving abroad.
Okay, well, I'll say that. So Tracie is both our move to Mexico consultant, as well as our business consultant. And Tracie has been very instrumental in us launching Root and Render Design Studio from the ground up. So shout out to you, Tracie. It's been amazing moving into a space, moving from being employees to being business owners and being wholly in charge of how much we can make, wholly in charge of the type of projects that we take on and the type of clients that we want to work with. It's been super empowering, and especially moving to Mexico, where the stipulation coming in as a North American is that you must come employed on your own or with savings or retired, so that you are not putting like undue pressure on the Mexican economy, right? Mm-hmm. Which we support wholeheartedly, right? We need to make sure that we have a business of some kind. If anybody else is seeing moving to Mexico, either you have a business or you work online, you are able to work remotely at your job. That is absolutely essential for doing, for making this kind of move. So being able to work with you in tandem on both moving as well as getting our business up and running has been like really critical for us being able to do this successfully. Yeah. And there was a lot of moving parts to think through, and you helped us just kind of, check things off one by one. And we're still checking things off one by one.
But it's afforded us the ability to be like digital nomads. And I think that's the beautiful thing, is that now we can, have a business in which we're in charge, but we can also take it wherever we want to take it. And we're taking it here. And we're able to do that, over here. And so that's the beautiful thing about, having our own business and have our own autonomy in that way. So it's been a great transition.
I'm a firm believer in location autonomy. Location autonomy. I don't want anybody to tell me where I have to report in.
Right.
Like where I have to report in or how much I can make. I don't believe in capping myself in life. So it obviously falls over into my work life as well, or business as well. So I have dropped their design studio landing page there for you guys to subscribe now, so you could be among the first to know when everything launches. I have several sets of clients on a spring equinox launch. And those who go by the traditional calendar, I don't know the name, not the Gregorian calendar, because we know that spring is really the new year and spring is the rebirth of everything. So this is when they will be launching Root and Render. And if you want to be in the know of what they have going on and the products and services that they offer, you definitely want to make sure that you stay connected to them when it comes to this and how your business can potentially, take advantage of what they have to offer. Also, I do appreciate the fact that you guys are Black women in tech or Black women in STEM. And I think that we need to make sure that we highlight that, because we are a minority in that space. And the fact that you guys are launching your design studio, the fact that that you have such a vast level of skill set is that definitely commendable, and we want to make sure that we acknowledge that going forward.
Thank you. Appreciate that, because I representation is everything. I want to see more of us in various tech spaces. Whether it is UX, cybersecurity, whether it is software engineering, or sales engineering, whatever it is, there's not enough of us in there. With UX, for example, the reason why it's so critical to have Black designers in there is, have you ever gone to a public washroom and pushed your hand under the automatic sink and it just would not work for you, or the dryer and it would not work for your hand? That's because when they were designing these products and testing them out, they weren't using people with dark skin. The sensors do not recognize our skin tone. So we often have to fiddle with this thing to get the water to even turn on. That's an example of why you need people of all different backgrounds in the room when these things are being designed. And with UX design, we get to be there from the ground floor while a product is being conceptualized, and help them to think about, hey, if you want as many people to use this as possible, did you think about this? Or did you think about that? And that's what UX design is. It's not just about like putting some rearranging pixels really nicely on a page. There's a lot of research that goes into what we have to do before we can actually launch a product.
It's it's the same thing with businesses, people, and that's, honey, not to divert our conversation, but just to prove a point that what you said kind of goes across the board. People really don't understand the fundamentals that go into it when it comes to business development and business strategy, and like, you know, creating a solid infrastructure for your brand. Honey went to, or you see like the reels that come up on social media, and somebody was talking about business funding. And one of the things about being close to people, they don't necessarily listen to what you have to say until somebody else says it. And when she mentioned it to me, I was like, And then she found out that the person was incorrect. And that's, yes, the reason why people are following. What makes me upset is people are following these individuals, and these individuals don't have any business experience whatsoever, but they get on social media telling people what to do, and they are inexperienced. They haven't run a business, they haven't created one, they definitely haven't sold one. I mean, you know, so it's all of the things. But let me answer this question, and we're going to keep going. So this channel, on my channel, thank you, Jacqueline, for your question, is about business wellness in my life here in Mexico. And these are my wonderful clients who are working with me on both sides, their relocation and also creating and developing their business. What else? What else was I going to say? I had a question. Following y'all. She said, hey. Thank
you so much.
Okay, so now, how has you guys have both gotten your residency, your Mexico residency. How was that process for you?
It went really smoothly. You mean since when we got here, finishing the second half?
In total.
Well, you know, it went really well. You know, we when we decided we're in Atlanta, we had to go apply at the Atlanta Mexican consulate there. And we had no idea what to expect. And so we set our appointment, and the day that we went there, we had all of our stuff together. Dara was more the spokesperson. She only took like one person. So Dara went in and worked with the woman, gave all our paperwork. And at some point she told us, you know, well, she was going to process everything and that we could come back in the afternoon. And at that point, we didn't really know what was going to happen. We just like, okay, you know, I guess they're going to tell us whether or not. We didn't know. We were like, they're going to tell us whether we're good or we're not good. We have no idea when we go back. And so.
Yeah, because she said to come back to collect our passports.
Yeah.
So that's all she said, right?
So when we got back, we went back, we saw the woman, and then I think what you asked.
Oh yeah, so I asked her. I said, okay. So she hands us our passports, and I said, okay, thank you. Do you have an idea of like when we'll know whether or not our visa application was accepted? And she just smiled and she said, look at the back of your passport and open the back of your passport. And when we opened it towards the back, the visa was already stamped in there. So it was a same day process.
We were so excited. We couldn't believe it.
That's when we called you and left you a very raucous, ridiculous voice message. You were probably like, oh my God, these girls. Yeah. So that's when we sent you that message, because we were just over the moon and had no idea that it was going to happen on the same day.
And I don't know how much you really want to know. I didn't want to get into all the weeds of the details, but you know, I don't know. Like I said, I jumped into the consulate part, but you know, it took us some time. We were trying to figure out how to do things, and like, you know, what do we need? And you know, it's just being new to the whole process was kind of like a little crazy at first, but then once we got it together and we did that and we got to that part, it was like, oh wow, like this happened really quick. And then from there, we had the 180 days to come here, in which we are here now, to complete the second part of our residency.
So
And
talk about that. So wait a minute, before you guys got here, the way
okay.
that I set them up to make sure that they were connected with a facilitator out here, and I only recommend my clients to this one particular facilitator because she gets things done. She is the more pricey facilitator. However, she's pricey because she's good. She's
Cheers.
pricey because she has a lot of pull, and people listen to her. And so when you guys landed, they literally had their appointment within a few days, and it was scheduled before they got here because I wanted to make sure that and I didn't schedule it, they did, but I really wanted to make sure that they got in to get their CONHE completed, because once you land on the side of Mexico, you only have 30 days and you never know what could happen. Mexico is notorious for holidays. They're notorious for running out of paper when they're printing out your stuff. They're notorious for, we just gonna call it off, or I didn't want them to run into any of that. So talk about your experience once you started the CONHE process.
Yeah, so yeah, the Kanye process. So you put us onto Sony Diaz. That woman's a beast. She's amazing. She, first of all, we got in on Sunday night. We got into SMA on Sunday night, and our appointment was on Tuesday morning, right? Now, Sony had emailed us and told us, she warned us several times, when you're coming into Mexico, when you land, go through the line for the citizens and residents. Do not go through the tourist line, because what people don't realize is if you go through the tourist line, it cancels out that first part of your visa that you already got in the United States. It'll cancel it out, and now you're in as a tourist. So we were so
nervous.
We were so nervous. We were the week before we were like going down YouTube looking to see like, okay, I wonder if we can see what it looks like for that line to make sure we got in the right line. But also she told us that sometimes they run out of the laminating paper for your temporary resident card. So because of that, you may not get it on the same day. And so you have to give yourself a couple of weeks. And so knowing that, we booked to be in Mexico for 3 weeks because, we were worried, we wanted to make sure that we gave ourselves enough time. Should we not get it on that first day, there would have been some leeway for them to get the cards first. Because once you land in Mexico on this process, you cannot leave without getting that card. If you do, then you're going to start the process all over again. Mm-hmm. So we booked for 3 weeks, and it ended up just being a long vacation because we got there on Tuesday morning. Sony got us the first appointment at 8:15 in the morning. Before it opened, and we're standing there at 8:15, and Sony comes around the corner, and she's like super coiffed, and like she had her shades and her high heels.
She's sharp.
She came clicking around the corner
with her assistant.
Who's a sharp sister? Who's a sharp woman? And she came up and we're like, Sony, and she was all business and
she super
had an pleasant
too, who was really amazing too.
Mm-hmm. And and we were out of there by 11:15 with our temporary resident cards in hand. So in 3 hours we got it, because we were warned that, bring food, bring a drink, bring something to read, because you're not allowed to have any electronic devices when you're inside of there. Understandable. So we thought it was going to be a whole day process. No, we were out of there by 11:15 as new residents of Mexico. So
yes,
Mexico is now our new home country. So, yeah.
Yes.
Congratulations, y'all. So how has your mindset had to shift in this journey, in this process, both now as new residents of the country and now as new business owners?
Oh, dang. Oh gosh, gotta think about that. How has it shifted?
I think for me, it's about right now I'm in the stage of letting go of a lot of things. Mm-hmm. We have a lot to physically let go of when we get back to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of purging to do. We started the process, but now it's accelerated. So there's a lot of things that we're going to have to let go of, because shipping stuff to Mexico is not very cheap. So we really have to pick and choose and be really brutal in that picking and choosing about what things we need to keep versus what we can donate, sell, or give away. And then as a new business owner, I think just as creatives, the business side is not something that comes natural to either of us. But now I'm becoming a lot more interested in the business side and just learning and understanding how to dot our I's and cross our T's to make sure that we protect this little baby that we're growing right now. And just understanding that living here will be a slower change of pace, which quite frankly, I am looking forward to. I think we both work really hard and we're accustomed to working really long hours. And now to be in a position where we won't have to work as many hours as we do in the States just to keep our heads above water is a welcome change.
For you, Andrew, what mindset shifts have you had to deal with or are challenging yourself with right now?
I don't know. I think it's just really, like the envisioning of my whole life, moving over here and how different it's going to be, and kind of divesting and detaching to a certain extent, from the States. And I think, of course, I have family and, they're the sort of the heartstrings. And I think just kind of even that, like strategizing and thinking in my mind, how can I keep this particular connection? What is my life going to look like now? I think it's kind of reorientation about how I have access to what I have now. So, Atlanta, my family's there. I have accessibility to my family in that way. I have a new nephew, Connie's like 6 months now. It's like, so I'm having to adjust that, like, wow, I'm going to be here permanently. And what are my relationships going to look like? How is that going to really shift? So adjusting to thinking about what this new life will be here is something that I have to kind of shift. And I'm a person that thinks a lot. I dream or I think a lot. And so I'm always thinking about like imagining what I'm going to be doing here. How am I going to travel, back and forth to the States, or how am I going to travel here? What more access am I going to have once I move here? Like, what is my life going to look like, even working and so forth, and how are we going to build and what that's going to look like? I mean, it's going to be it's going to be better, but it's like, we're definitely going to be in the business because this is the start. So we're definitely going to be, busy and like, and having to imagine that, like how to build and what that's going to look like, because I think that's something I've been really thinking about, so that we can afford to be able to be here. I think I'm thinking about that and the success of how the business is going to be. It's going to be the hard work, So I think I've been thinking, about that and the relationships we'll build, like what kind of community and stuff that we'll have as well. So thinking about that.
So what advice would you give other couples considering a move abroad and simultaneously launching a business?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. Gird your loins. This is not a simple, linear, straightforward, easy process, but it is doable. It is completely doable. But you just have to really put your boots to the ground and be like, we want this, and make this the priority over everything else. You have to be able to have somebody on your side who can help you shepherd you through it. Okay, well, that would be, who helped us with it? That would be the lovely lady in pink that you're looking at on your screen right now.
Tracie.
Tracie is our Move to Mexico consultant as well as our business consultant. So we would highly recommend working with Tracie because she got us to this. She got two women who never saw themselves as business owners by any stretch to now be at this point where we are, where we're launching.
Like getting ready to launch. Not
ready to
launch, like combing through your offers.
And listen, Tracie does not play with you. Tracie gives you deliverables. She gives you homework. And she says, I'm not going to work on your business harder for you than you are going to work on it.
Yeah.
So what that means is better get your stuff done because she knows what she's talking about. She's sold, she's created from the ground up and sold several businesses. This woman is the truth. And I know I'm tooting your horn here, Tracie, on the live, but like, we really, really, really appreciate you, your expertise, your knowledge, and the fact that like, you're really well connected. And if you don't know something, you're gonna find it out, right? And we don't need somebody who knows absolutely everything. We need somebody who can just kind of shepherd us through it, give us the direction, so that we could get to the point where we could kind of take the training wheels off and go like running. We're not quite there yet, so don't run away just yet, because we still need you for a bit. But
will be like, I'm showing up at their house, Tracie. Like, I need help. They would be like, help me, you know. But honestly, for me, it's, oh, go ahead, Angie.
No. And I think it's just like, you know, taking it in bite-sized pieces. You know, Tracie's words to me is like, girl, because I be thinking a lot and stressing. And so, you know, just being very, like, you know, give yourself grace, be patient with yourself, take things in like bite-sized pieces, you know, and having a plan. And, you know, and not everybody maybe can have the opportunity to have a consultant or relocation, but it is if you can, it is definitely helpful to have somebody give you a guideline and really help you through some of the particulars. And, you know, and, you know, even having a business we dreamed about this. We've been talking about this for over a couple of years, but like, we never brought it to fruition because we were on the hustle. So it's even been amazing that like, we got to this point where like, oh, like it really pushed us and propelled us forward to actually bring to fruition and manifest and get help and actually creating an actual business, you know, not only just envisioning us doing it, but actually doing it. So I think that's, you know, kind of my advice is just, it's been very helpful to have somebody really guide us. Like I said, taking things one thing at a time and giving yourself some grace, but trusting that, you know, it's gonna get done, you know, and really having a great plan. And, you know, knowing that some things won't go as planned, but for the most part, you know, having that gives you something to look forward to and to strive and have goals to do it. Is really helpful. Yeah.
We're glad you're here too.
thank you.
I'm glad you're here too.
Shout outs to Brooke. Thank you. We saw your comment, Brooke, and you're amazing.
I have folks in my arsenal, and she is definitely one of them.
She is.
She is, isn't she? But also for me, like the reason why I work with women women-owned businesses is because I love to see us win. Primarily Black women, because I am one, and I understand the hurdles that we have to face, getting our businesses and getting our goals accomplished. And when y'all win, I win. Like, but I want to see you win. I'm that silent cheerleader, but I'm not gonna let you fall, but I'm not gonna keep you from falling either. You know, I want you to make mistakes, because essentially that's where your learning lessons are lying. And it's not a mistake, because it's a lesson applied. And then you pivot, you navigate, and then you grow. But one of the things that I'm very proud of you guys, no matter how difficult or challenging or how unknown the territory was, having been uncharted, now you can say, yeah, you know, we do have a business, and yes, we are launching our brand, and yes, we are residents of Mexico, and yes, we feel better. You guys are glowing. Kayla said it earlier. I don't know if you saw that, but she did say it earlier. And we want you guys to be lighter in life, and it really takes a village to do that. You have to see that it is possible.
And you know, our story too was, you know, everybody has a different experience. So to each own in that way, whatever your experience is. But we took a leap of faith. It is not like we went traveling around all of Mexico
No.
Seeing what it was like to live other places, we made a very intentional decision. We gathered what we felt was enough information for us, and we really kind of came here sight unseen. This is the first time that we are here, and we're choosing to be here. So, that's our experience, right? So that's that. It may be different for you, for someone else. They may feel like they need to see a lot of different places, but I think the learned lesson from that is taking a leap of faith. We knew we wanted to be, so we knew what the goal was. We picked it. We came here sight unseen, and now we're getting the experience, and that was ours.
And I think, like, just in terms of if there are any Black queer couples listening right now, watching right now, like Black lesbian couples, we know, as Angie said, like, we can't just travel everywhere. We have to, as you said before, is we have to think about being Black, being queer, and being married. We wanted to, in terms of how we chose Mexico, it was a process of elimination. What countries are safe for us to be Black? What countries are safe for us to be women? What countries are safe for us to be queer women who are married, that's going to recognize our marriage and honor it, so that if, God forbid, one of us ends up in the hospital, the other one doesn't have to struggle and fight to go and see them and make decisions on their behalf, like simple things like that, right? And for us, Mexico hit all of those marks. And there are other countries too. People are moving to Portugal, they're moving to other places too. For Mexico, we didn't want to be too far away from Angie's parents. It's a straight shot, a direct flight. And my family in Trinidad, it's just a few hours flight from there. And we didn't want to be like in Europe or too far away. And so Mexico just hit all of the marks for us. And SMA in particular, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Just so many reasons why we chose SMA.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're here. We're definitely enjoying your journey and your experience. And I get to watch it from so many different angles. So I definitely am enjoying your experience, but also your growth and seeing that shift happen with you guys. So before we close out, what can people expect next from Root and Render?
So they can expect the launch, which is coming very, very soon. The full website will be very, very soon. Right now, we've got a great landing page up there. Thanks to Brooke. Shout outs to Brooke for that. And so they can expect a lot of great design. We both have great design thinking. We like to think through things. We love solving problems in an aesthetic way. We love solving problems creatively. And this is what being designers allows us to do.
Yeah, and we'll be sending things out so that you can also get to know us in that aspect as well. You're meeting us right now on camera as two people in the experience of SMA, but then we'll be sending out things so that you can get to know us as business people and how we work through our business, and getting to know us, and sharing in our growth and journey, and providing services that hopefully y'all will find that you will like.
Thanks, Brooke. Yeah, definitely.
I dropped the link in there for everybody again to make sure you subscribe to Dara and Angela. Their landing page is there. And I love their design. If this is only what they can do for themselves, imagine what they can do for you. So make sure you stay connected with them. Let me see what else before we go. Are there any last words? Any last words before we close out? And where can people find you outside of subscribing to Root and Render?
Okay. Last words. If you're thinking about moving to Mexico, if you're thinking about SMA, do it, visit it, contact Tracie, come down for a scouting trip and see it for yourself. Mexico sells itself. This is a beautiful country, despite the propaganda that the U.S. has tried to put out there. This country is beautiful with beautiful people, amazing culture. It's amazing.
Yeah, keep yourself open. Really just be open for the possibilities as far as, what your life can look like outside of the States, and what it can look like somewhere else, what it can look like here. As far as how to reach me, Like I said, I'm a digital illustrator as well, so I do have an IG account. It's She Got Designs on IG. It's the best place to find me. Also, I have a portfolio, AngelaMCalvin.com. You can see all of my work there, so you can find me. And I also have a store at SheGotDesigns.co that you can like get some of my products, some of my designs. So that's how you can reach me.
And then for Root and Render Studio, we just launched our Instagram page, and you can find us at Root and Render Design Studio. Kind of long IG name, but you can find us there. And you can also find me at daradoesdesign.com. That is my portfolio that I'm updating right now. That's it, really. Yeah.
So what are you guys getting ready to do now that we're getting ready to go from here? Do you guys have any plans tonight?
Well, we coming over for some bread.
Yeah, excuse me.
I don't have bread. It's Michelle's bread. Okay, what they're talking about, I made some focaccia today. I made a loaf for Michelle from scratch. And it is, what is it? It's tomato and rosemary focaccia. That ain't even my bread.
You need to follow her bread making.
Right, Hoochie Girl.
Hoochie Girl.
Hoochie Girl has her own. I gotta get back on it. I gotta get back on.
Yeah, we're just hanging out tonight. We just got some stuff to do. We're just gonna be here
can y'all be finagled out of the house tonight or what?
I don't know. I have to talk to Honey and see what. But she probably in the bed. I know we have been out all week. I had a branding shoot with a client yesterday, and then we had to meet up at Francesco's. We wanted to celebrate Bobby and her birthday. But the night before we were out, which felt like we were out until like midnight, but it was probably maybe 10 o'clock. That's one thing about San Miguel. It'll feel later than what it is, and then you'll see like you have so much more night or day time available for you to continue to do stuff. However, I do have a friend coming into town that I want you guys to meet, Tanya, who has been a friend of mine for a while now, even before I moved to Mexico. She's lived outside of the States for, I want to say 10 years, because she started in Spain and she's been in Mexico for at least 5-6 years, and she's been in Puerto Vallarta. Well, now she's tired of Puerto Vallarta. I told y'all. And she's coming here tomorrow for her scouting trip for SMA, because she's considering moving here as well. So y'all have the opportunity to meet her too. And I love Tanya. I'm gonna see if I can get her. She's actually been on here before, but I may see if I can get her on here next Friday to talk about her experience here at SMA, because she'll be here. So we'll see. But
we want to meet her. We feel like Playa like it gives like spring break vibes.
Yeah.
So it seems
It gives old. It gives old Florida retirement village spring break. And gay spring break in Puerto Vallarta, like white male gay spring break. That is Puerto Vallarta. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me here on Friday Night Live. Thank you guys for watching. To the replay gang, make sure you subscribe to Root and Render. Y'all got 2 of my emails because I was testing everything before. Everything before we launched it. But it is up. It is beautiful. I can't wait to continue to share in your journey and to uplift you guys. Make sure, let me drop my blog here. And something that I don't ever talk about is I have a Women Who Lead blog. So for people who I didn't talk much about what I do, which wasn't the intent for tonight, but I support women in leadership to create scalable, sellable businesses. And the reason why I focus on both aspects is because not only have I done it myself, but it's important that we as women create something that we can sell. So making sure all of the elements are in place to where if life circumstances change, and or if you decide to make a change in your life and take a different direction, your business is actually your asset. Because for me, that was a part of my move abroad strategy, was my exit strategy, not only exiting the country, but also exiting my business. So, and in my blog, Women Who Lead blog, I drop a monthly blog. The next one is getting ready to come out that I got to write or create. I will be highlighting my clients in the next upcoming months. I'm going to highlight a client per month, and you will be able to hear even more about Dara and Angela's story in the next upcoming months through the Women Who Lead blog. Okay, so make sure you read the Women Who Lead blog. Make sure you stay connected to these cool ass, dope ass folks who are literally as cool in person as they are here. And I think they are going, and I know they're absolutely, oh, thank you, absolutely going to do amazing things as they make their lives transition here to San Miguel, because we're dope as shit. And they also lend to the fact that they're business owners. And I love the fact that we continue to attract business women here in San Miguel. I absolutely love that for us. I absolutely love that for us here in San Miguel. All right, you guys. So have a good night. You two can stay on. Everybody have a good night, and I will see you next time.
Bye.
Night, everybody. Have a good one.